Good morning, y'all. Welcome back to the Southern Cottage. I am sitting outside, which is what I do every single morning with my coffee in my garden. And I had a few things that have been weighing on my mind about homecoming moms and pricing and things like that. And I wanted to share that with y'all. I'm still drinking my coffee. I don't normally do people this early, but I'm here for y'all. And yes, this is my coffee cup. Anyway, during my lives, Hyla's lives, there are always a ton of questions about pricing and things like that. And me sitting here telling you need to charge this much for this size mom is not really going to help you any. So I am going to tell you how to price your mums. And you can get it down to the penny if you want to. So let me start off by saying all the new mum makers, y'all, stop being so dang hard on yourself. Everybody starts somewhere. You learn as you go. I've been doing this 15, 20 years, and I still learn something new every time I pick up a ribbon or that staple gun. Every time. Every year I learn new stuff. So, stop. Just stop. I always continue to learn. I'm watching YouTube. I call it YouTube University because that's where I learned how to do my cookies. I learned all kinds of things, shortcuts on YouTube. And in the off season, y'all binge watch videos on things that you want to learn. Binge watch them. And learn something new when you're not in the middle of creating. Now, I'm not saying don't watch while you're creating, because there are some things that you can definitely do as you go along that will help you and better your mum making experience and your product. Some of the braids and things that we do, and I say we, I'm including y'all, they take a minute to get in the groove of. And your first braid's going to take you a while. On some of the more difficult, I call them pain in the butt braids. Some of the more difficult ones are going to take you a minute to get in the groove and to learn how to do that. Do it. But don't stress if you can't get it perfect. Because a simpler braid to do is going to look just fine on that mum. And when you have time, then you go back and you perfect the pain in the butt braids. Go back and perfect them. Put that video on slow motion and watch the hand movements until it becomes second nature to you. So when you start off small. Don't go buy absolutely everything you think you're ever going to need to make mums, y'all, because that can get pricey. Really pricey. Start off small. Always keep a notebook of what you buy. I used to just set I used to have a spreadsheet with my supplies on there and how much it cost me. That way I knew whenever I cut off a piece of my acetate ribbon, I knew how much it cost per yard. And I knew that I needed to add that cost into the mum that I was making. As you go along, it will become second nature. You know you can make the skirt of this mum this size and it's going to cost you $10 for all of that ribbon, give or take a little bit depending on the specialty stuff you put on there. You'll figure it out. Make basic braids in your off time. Black and white, black and silver, white and silver, all white, all black. Make some basic braids for those last minute orders, because we all know people wait till the last minute and expect perfection. For one, they're not going to get it. Second, they're going to pay more for it. And third, it's going to stress you out. Don't let it stress you out. Make those braids ahead of time and pick out one of your pre-made braids and put it on there, and then add some embellishments to it. It's going to be just fine. Let's talk about people and their budgets. Y'all know I live in a socioeconomically disadvantaged area. A lot of us do, especially nowadays. And people don't have a ton of money. So offer some less expensive mums. Ask them what their budget is. And then tell them what you can make them for that. Don't ask them what size. Ask them what their budget is. If they say max $100, well, I can make you a beautiful mum this size for that price. If they say they want a quad mum for $100, tell them no. No. That's a complete sentence, guys. I need you guys to know your worth. We know your worth. And when I say we, I'm talking about fellow YouTubers that and mum makers that see your work. We see you. We see what you're doing. We know your worth. You need to know your worth. Homecoming mums are an extravagance. They are not a need. They are a want. If they don't have the money to purchase what they want, show them what they can have for that amount. Do not bring your prices and your art down to meet their expectations. Don't do that. Do not do that, because it is an art form. This is art. And you know how long it takes you to make this stuff, guys. It is a labor of love that you should be compensated for. This takes time. It takes knowledge. Think about the time that you spend learning how to make these braids, learning these shortcuts on how to make your life easier while you're making these last minute mums. Think about all the time that you've put into learning your craft. And what is that time worth to you? What did that time take away from in your everyday life? Every minute I spend, my craft room is right here. Every minute I spend in this building is a minute that I've spent away from my home. So you need to take that into account. And you need to make that time worth being away from those people. Some of you work... Oh, y'all, it's early. I just kicked my camera stand. Anyway, some of y'all work inside your home, and I did that for years. I did it for years. But I was still not fully in with my family. I was not available to do things. So know what that time is worth. If you're going to take time away from them, you need to be compensated for it, just like a 9-to-5 job. Hopefully it'll pay better. Anyway, stop comparing yourself to other mum makers. Like I said, this is an art form. No two mum makers will do things exactly the same. We can have the exact same supplies and make the exact same items, and it will look different. And that is okay, because one person is going to look at my mum and say, oh, that's my favorite. That's the one I want. And another person's going to look at your mom and say, oh, I love that. That's the one that I want. Somebody, multiple somebodies are going to come to you for your way of doing things. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Just stop. You can always strive to be better. I always strive to learn something new, to make my mums better for my customers. But, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You do your art form the way you do it, and people will buy it. It's as simple as that. And if somebody comes at you pricing, if somebody comes at you and says, oh, I can buy that. We talked about this on one of my lives, or maybe one of Hilo's lives. I don't remember. Y'all, it runs together. You're charging too much. I can go to Hobby Lobby and buy a pre-made mum. Tell them, go ahead. Let me show you where it is. They're going to get up there. They're going to buy that pre-made mum and then have to buy all the stuff to put on it. And then they're going to spend days and days and days trying to figure out how to put it together, how to make those braids if they didn't buy any, how to make it look cute like the one that they said was overpriced that you were selling. Let them learn. Let them learn. My cousin, I'm making a quad senior mom for their daughter, and they went and spent $260 at Hobby Lobby. And I said, honey, I could have made you that mom for that price. And you don't need half that stuff you bought. You don't need it. And they're like, really? Yeah, absolutely. So let them go to Hobby Lobby. You might lose that one sale that year, and you might not ever want to deal with them again because, when people come at you and tell you your stuff ain't worth it, you really don't want to have to do business with them. But you do you. You do what you want to do with those people. I would tell them, yeah, no. I don't need your money that bad. Sorry. I do not need that negativity in my life. So, know your worth. Know that your work is an art form. It is unique to you. Yes, you'll do things similar. It'll never be exactly the same. Don't bring me a picture of a mom and say, I want it exactly like this. Because I'm going to tell you, you better go find the person that made it. Because there's no way it's going to be exactly like that. I can get close. I can get similar. There is no way that I can make it exactly like that. It's not going to happen. Anyway, all right, let's talk about pricing after I get a drink of coffee. I take what I have in a mum, cost times 3. 1/3 of that is your cost. That is the supplies that you use to make that mum. 1/3 of that is going to be your money. It's what you pay yourself to do that work. Okay? And 1/3 of that is going to go back into your business to resupply for the next year. Do not multiply it times 2. Do not say, oh, it cost me $20. I'll just charge you $30. Don't do that. Don't do that, because you just spent an hour on that mum. You spent $20 or 2 hours, however long it took you. You spent $20 to make it, and then you get a $10 profit, and you can't even go buy enough supplies to make another one just like it, and you've got no money in your pocket. Don't do that. And do not price things how you would pay for them. Do not price them like what you would say, oh, Don't do that, because you're going to look at something and say, I'm not paying that. I could make that for so-and-so. Well, yes, you could, but you also need to factor in the time and the replacement cost. Do not. I look at stuff all the time and say, that's $30. I could make that thing for like 10, maybe 15. I'm not paying that. And then you have to buy whatever equipment it is you need to make it, whatever. I'm talking anything besides mums, because I already have all that equipment. But you see where I'm going? Don't price it how you would buy it. Don't do that, because you're not going to want to pay what you need to charge, because you know you can make it. You also know the time that goes into it. So, if y'all take anything away from this, I need you to know your own worth. Know the worth of your art. Don't worry about somebody else's. In the off season, you need to take a minute. Take a minute to figure out cost. That is going to be a labor of love in itself, but it's a labor of love for yourself. Because that is going to save you so much time and so much stress. And then put together a price list. In the off season, guys. Do it in the off season. Don't try to be doing that when you're making 15 mums and they're due in 3 days. Don't do that to yourself. Make a price list. Pee-wee mum. It's going to come with this length of streamers. Do it just basic. Without a braid. 1 name, 2 trinkets, 3-inch flower, basic price. And then you have your add-ons. Braids. Y'all don't charge any less than $10 for a braid. Pain in the butt braids are more than that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So, anyway, bling. Do an add-on for it. Get your basic price and then have your little add-ons. Boas, I know some people love them, some people hate them. People want them on these mums. Charge $10 for boa or more, depending on what you pay for it. Put that on there as an add-on. Get your pricing before mum season starts. And then put it out there. Take a picture of your screen, take a picture of your printed paper, and put that on your Facebook. And don't let them people talk you down. This is not a flea market. It's not a garage sale. Okay? They're not going in to Walmart and say, hey, I like that 55-inch TV, but I want to pay the price of the 30-inch. And Walmart's going to look at them and laugh. And you need to do the same thing. No. Complete sentence. Y'all, I've got to get to work. Know your worth. Get some of this stuff done before mum season so you're less stressed and less rushed during mum season. Okay? Y'all need to be kind to yourself. If you cannot champion for yourself, if you don't feel like your mums are enough, know that they are. Multiple somebodies are going to want what you have to offer. Mums are an extravagance. They are a want, not a need. If somebody wants your art, then they need to pay you for it. You need to be compensated for your time and for your art. Know your worth. And if you can't stand up for yourself, call me. I'll help you. All right, guys. I'll see y'all soon.